Oh, I need to make a build. I haven't actually made a build in a little while.
Oh, Will. Gotta make them builds.
I know. Well, one of the it's one of the it's one of my like it's one of our perpetual agenda items for the stream time as a forcing function for me to play a build. Right?
Indeed.
So here we
I'm gonna
go.
move this big honkin' wrecked church out of the way. That'll make my life easier. I'm almost ready to prime it.
Oh, the church.
Yeah, the church. Put a little peak over the top. Eventually, it's going to have a big plate underneath it, so it all just plops as one thing. But I put a bunch of like support doohickeys on it. The engineer in me, which does not exist, says is going to be really helpful.
Oh,
Making that thing sturdy.
You want to see something hilarious?
Generally, I do.
Let's see if I can do this properly. So, all right, hold on.
Why?
I'm gonna stop presenting this screen.
You know what's funny is that
and then I'm gonna start presenting the screen that the game is actually running on. This is how I'm going to
Restream's being a bit of a hoser.
This is how I'm going to introduce the fact that I have a new monitor on the side here.
Yeah, you're playing in tall boy mode?
Trying it in tall boy mode.
Playing on your phone?
So I've heard from lots of folks that like typical developer config for monitors is like with the one tall boy and then a regular one in the middle. So I'm trying it and I don't mind it. We've joked that this is more the Kotaku monitor. I have a website on the side that I'm that I'm reading rather than doing work monitor. But now I'm curious just like how the game handles these dimensions. So here we go.
I mean,
oh, look at that phone.
It's not unplayable.
It's not unplayable is right. It's
the meta of having a phone on your phone is pretty tight. I mean, we would have to solve so much stuff. Oh my god.
We would have to skill up in like the UI kit Flexbox layout stuff, but like this should actually be solvable. Like we're not even that cramped on screen space. Actually, like a lot of screen space right now. Oh, I should be using my middle mouse to pan. That's the other new thing. Wow, that's a lot of space for recipes.
It does sort of solve for the like, wow, we have these really long lists. Is that going to be all right on phone? It's like, you got it, brother.
Yeah.
It's the way of the future. Just little by little making sure that our BS is streaming the right way. Yeah, it's me and you, Will.
Yeah.
It's working though, which is good. All right, we're up to a whopping 32 followers. Will,
I know that's a celebrate.
It is a celebrate. I mean, I think technically
30 hour too, isn't it? That's fantastically.
Yeah. I think I don't know who Mad Scrabbler is, but they just was it someone you pulled in 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, I know the Mad Scrabble and how he scrabbles. He scrabbles hard. Great guy.
Sweet. It's I mean, theoretically, I think we'll start making pennies a month.
All right.
Except technically we won't. Once we reach $50 in revenue, we'll get a check.
My father-in-law is really excited that I'm doing this because he's a entrepreneur man himself. And so
is he a mad scrabbler?
He always checks in. No, he's not a mad scrabbler. But I can tell him that we're making money now when the pennies start rolling in.
Everybody and their uncle. Yeah, I got to affiliate the day after the request. All the stuff's not hooked up, Auditor, but yep. Pieces and parts are in play. If I go through the viewer rewards thing, power ups and channel points, doesn't
Oh, that doesn't
I
work.
don't have an interface to that yet. Cruft dice for Team Wen. Yeah, we did it.
I mean that system is what we get for affiliate, right?
That is.
All right. So I have a problem. So this is funny and all that the game is stuck on my side monitor, but now I have to fix this problem because
I don't remember what the key command is, but you're worried about someone who has a side monitor and it auto going there. Is it control?
no, my concerns are much more personal and immediate. I
Oh,
just don't want to play like this.
there's absolute. It's like try Control Alt Arrow key.
I remember Control F11 was like a full screen. Control
Not
Alt
full
Arrow
screen.
key.
Didn't move it. I can't remember the command.
Moved.
I
That moved. No, that didn't.
finish your sentence.
I
That
was about to
moved.
say that moved a different window, but not the window I
that
wanted.
moved my guts.
Alt F11.
It's not Alt F11. There's absolutely a way to like take the thing that's in focus and move it. I'll look it up. Key command to switch screen. Windows Shift arrow. I think.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Main screen turn off.
As a multi-monitor person, that's going to be your friend. So certain games go over to my Cintiq automatically.
Yeah,
which is a little painful. And
well, it makes sense what it did because I told it to make my primary monitor the side monitor,
yep.
the one that's going to have like my notes and the stuff I don't want showing up on the stream necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I get a notice on Discord about someone about something or other, I don't need that popping up on the streamed monitor. So I set that to the primary monitor, but now all my games are launching on this one first. Like Night Rain did that too, but they had a slick little option in the menu to choose the monitor.
Yeah, so Frostpunk goes over to my Cintiq for some weird reason. Yeah, it came inside 0 channel points. So yeah, being able to quickly switch. I haven't played Frostpunk in like a couple months, which is why I couldn't remember it offhand. But a few games have done that. It's been very weird.
Okay, I have to turn back on. I spent all this time meticulously organizing my windows, and then this curveball undid all that work. So give me 1 sec to turn it back on.
So yeah, soon forthcoming things like emotes, things like channel points, rewards. I mean, obviously easy stuff we can give away. It's like keys to the game. We put people in the game. We can have you like probably name or choose an item to be created, stuff like that. It's fun stuff that like costs us work, but optimally not. We can't. I can put the send a thoughtful postcard in because we got postcards.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Of course, I gotta find one.
I've still got. Yeah, I've got to move postcards. We have all these postcards that have, like links to the game Steam page, links to the Discord, links to the company site, links to the Twitch, links to the YouTube. And all that value is not being realized right now because they're sitting in a box and I need to get them out to people.
Indeed.
All right, what am I trying to do in this game?
I think before we get popping on that, we probably should just like catch up for old time's sake.
Fair enough. How'd you feel about Night Rain? We've been playing Night Rain. That's the new game.
I think it's a really good game. For someone who is not good at that kind of game to finally be able to drop Night Rain, for context, is not that anyone's going to not know what it is.
Someone won't.
It's Elden Ring, but 3-player co-op and built around 3-player co-op. It is a lot of reuse of assets, absolutely fine. But it is it's dope. Like, it is fun for me to be able to play the game in a way that mean, basically, we just followed Dave around and collected
Yep.
stuff, and then sometimes, generally, Will would catch up a little sooner and start adding some stuff, and then I would catch up a little after that, and then start doing some damage, and then it would take him and I a little longer to collect loot and decide. Like the loot pickup is great. It's just like, all right, it's like a binary or trinary decision.
Yeah, he's gone once the thing is killed, and I'm like, which of these stats would be better?
But it's a hoot. The combat is just as good, which is, I think, the super important part of that equation. And it to me, it feels great to be able to play the game with intentional a couple other people. So we have one carry with a capital C, and two
an AD carry,
and two weird juggalo guys running around the map, not like how do you know where you're going? It's like, oh, just pick it on the map. But like I open the map and I'm like, how did you pick that?
There's a lot of hieroglyphics on the map. I know I recognized one category of icon on the map, which is the one for bonfires. I think there's a different name for them in Elden Ring, but anyways, Site of Grace. They're Dark Souls bonfires, so I can recognize those. But that's kind of it.
That's kind of it. Yeah, it's definitely hieroglyphic-y. But
even the fact that like the main boss appears where that giant tree in the sky is, like I'm like such a city slicker, I never look up, right? Like joke is that like if you're from the city, you don't look up at the big tall buildings. Well, I wasn't looking up at the big tall slicker. Tree. Yeah.
You ain't from around here, are you, boy?
No, I ain't from around here.
It's a hoot. It is also like, it is good that we have a blow off steam like thing to do as buddies other than Warhammer. Like you just drop it and play.
Warhammer is like it's a huge payload because it's like 6-8 hours of gaming, but like that's a lot of work.
Yeah, like you got to payload like the commute, the setup, the fact that Will and I are still like working our way through it. The payoff is amazing.
So to translate what you mean by we're gonna like just learning the rules and executing them properly, you mean?
Yeah, and we haven't cross-populated our tabletop BS that much with other people, and so we don't know a lot of the shortcuts of like we learn them little by little. Like Will was in a combat patrol league. Like you play with other people, and they're like, if you think about it, this part you don't really have to spend that much time setting up. Whereas there's other parts where like we have to remember the battle shock step, like learning where strategic reserves come in and remembering that. There's a lot to work through, but it's been fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, I like that there are new little wrinkles to the game revealing itself. It's not what they did on purpose, but in a way, it's like a difficulty curve because each time we go in, we're like, oh right, like units coming in from reserve
was a big,
not a thing we were doing properly at all.
And so the units that wield it were like, huh. And the only reason I dug deep on it,
once we realized the real rule, like the game got a little more interesting.
It got more rich.
Yeah.
Like I ended up with a character that was like, oh, like if this dude's leading poxwalkers and he's in reserves, when it comes out as if it was turn 3. And I was like, who cares? And then I looked it up again and I was like, oh, yeah. I care.
There's a lot of little phrases like that in the rules where if you're curious enough, it'll lead you to learning a new rule because you're like, well, why would you bother to say that if it doesn't?
Right. It seems like a non sequitur, but they're so verbose in their rules. I hate that part. But like whatever, they know that they have to.
And that's the part where I say that's like they didn't make this difficulty curve on purpose, but like the way we're encountering the game, it has little like unlocks along the way.
So the game keeps getting richer. Will, my Crusade army craves dwarven blood.
Don't they all?
Don't they all? So we do need to actually like book a time for that. We could at some point actually play on the weekend. If either you or I can find time on a weekend in the summer. But
that's right. I need to buy.
Yeah, apparently the Crusade rules are agnostic, and then the Crusade books are like, here's extra layer, and the Codex is like, here's faction related layer. We start that at
Okay.
any time. Like technically,
Someday I'll get a codex and be a real boy.
yeah, be a real short boy. Um, like if we had done the prep and post game activities, our last match would have been a Crusade game.
It would have been what?
A Crusade game.
Oh yeah.
Like if we had said, "Oh, these are these specific units with these specific things," in because we played 1,000 point game, um, and like we had agendas, which there are generic ones, then we would come out of that with a certain amount of points, which is interesting. I like that. It's more modular than what I thought it was. But yeah, what a weekend! Went to a kid's birthday party, brought home sickness. My two littles, my one not so little, got it. And then while I was taking care of littles, I got it. So I had a pretty spicy. I'm by no means 100% right now. I'm actually like, I got the AC cranked in here and I'm sweating.
You present really well for having the virus.
Holding it together. But last night, like during the day yesterday, my stomach started feeling like was like I had pain in it, and then I ate dinner and it was like, nope, I got it. So from like 5:30 p.m. last night till 9 this morning, yeah, I was just like out of it. A little better. I got some granola bars with me. I did. I muscled through a protein bar on an earlier stream. We're hanging in there. I think tomorrow I'll be pretty much fine, or at least just have like weird aftershocks. But I'm holding it down, which is great. And it's funny because like I'm very pro labor, but I actually think one of the better things about working remotely is that you can actually work sick with a clean conscience. If you can't work, then you shouldn't work. But like honestly, me sitting and playing the game this morning and writing down bugs was good and valuable, and I didn't want to just lie in bed and mope. But I also felt no compulsion in terms of like, am I okay enough to go into the office and like pass a norovirus around? There is something good about that, which is uncharacteristically weird for me to say because normally I'm like, "Viva la revolution!" Like, start a union.
I just say I want to ask you more what you mean by pro labor, like proletariat labor.
Yeah, like, okay. Like
not like pro get to work, but
no, like Marxian pro labor. Like honestly, we may become a union shop before we ever have any employees, just because like I believe in that. However,
oh, 100%.
Like if you're sick and you shouldn't work and you need to recoup, you should do that. But if you're working from home and you're contagious and you feel like working, you don't have to make this weird decision of like, do I go in or not? Like I can't get Will sick. That is like for a startup, pretty great.
Yeah, it must be an insane amount of like potential value that's been destroyed by like getting the cold or the flu and passing it around, you know.
And frankly, like I'm sitting here on a stream, and there's a like it's not a high chance. There's a non-zero chance that like I got to bolt to the bathroom across the hall.
Yeah. Yep. And if you bolt, I'm just going to be working on tutorial tasks.
Like,
They're all pretty contained and well broken down.
It's not me at work and how do I drive home if it gets worse. Like I can tap at any moment. I could be like, hey guys, it'd be like me streaming late night where I'm like, wow, I hit the wall, I'm tired. I could be like, man, I'm really sick. Don't have to worry about that. I do think to totally just shift gears in absolutely rapid fire succession to shift back. My big issue with Warhammer rules is that a lot of things could be handled by shorter statements, of which have a very important clarification. Like, they don't. Yeah. So they're a little exception heavy in some spots where they should just not have the extra cool thing to not have the 1 out of 100 times it happen and have the statement of the rules be a bit more compressed. So
Yeah, and that feels like a that is a veteran's opinion. That is a time tested. What matters more to the game? Like these wrinkly bits that make it harder for everyone for the benefit of a few who experience it. Like the value's not there.
like forcing the keyword uh Demon Prince of no Heretic Astartes Demon Prince of Nurgle is a terrible idea. That's not a keyword anymore.
Having that be like the type.
Yeah. It's just like, all right, chill out. I do understand they have to keep it like there is a lot of very important and good rules arbitration, but some of it now comes from being so verbose.
Would you say that that's a parsimonious opinion about Warhammer?
Yeah, but legalese statements are part of the rule set. And truth be told, Patrick, you're right. That is not a grand example of it, but like there could be a section that is like, here's the legality of your warlord or what counts in your army. And a lot of times some of that stuff has to get reiterated or does get reiterated in the actual like rule or ability. I just feel like with a good hard look at it, some of that could come back out. Like as someone who's still, I'm less new to painting, I'm still very new to playing the game. A lot of times a rule description is so long with repetitive, that's the thing. That's how I know. It's so long with repetitive text. The number of things you read every single time you read an ability or like an ability of a certain flavor is just like, that should be chunkable either into a symbol,
and it's pervasive. Like when I like every time we start a game, we like studiously take out the Leviathan fold out with all the steps, and we get to one that we forget, and I read it to you. But when I read it to you, I go relevant bit, another relevant bit. Like I have to be in real time filtering out all the chaff, like a bad math problem, you know.
I'm going to try to think of a concrete example of this before we go on. It's in my crawl. It's not an extremely well formulated thought yet, but I feel like as a game designer, I just see too much. Grab something I know a lot about. Grab Death Guard. And I'll grab a unit.
You getting props? Because I don't see your camera unless I pull up the Twitch stream.
I can get some props.
I was just curious what your aids are now.
I will have to move a little bit of stuff around just to be a little bit safe.
If you're on Wahapedia, I can fire it up.
Yeah, but like for the kids in the audience having everything be consistent, it's not the worst thing. That
I like idly playing Cruft while talking because.
Oh, you froze up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear me, Will, but I think you need to bounce to come back in. I lost Will. Will's frozen.
I can.
There. Oh, baby's coming back. We'll see about this. I wonder if I murked him in the background. See if he comes back. One. No, let's ring Fuselot's easy. Future fire. Where did Will go? I wonder if he lost the internet. We get a free DJ show. So I feel like foul infusion could be a lot fewer words. And I think it shouldn't be one paragraph. Like, I feel like foul infusion is while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have the lethal hits ability. Could just be like, grants lethal hits to this unit. And then a second bullet point would be, instead of in addition, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, a critical hit scored on an unmodified roll of 5 up instead of only a 6. Be like, grants this unit, lethal hits, and 5 up crit on a hit roll. That's what I mean. Now, you may have to arbitrate grants this unit. Basically, I want the this keyword. That's what I want. I want this like it's programming. That's absolutely true, Joe. I am the worst person to qualitatively test our tutorial right now. I'm still pretty solid in quantitatively doing that, but qualitative not so much. I'm going to kill this main screen just in case. Whoop! There you go. Now you get even better stuff to look at. In case I got a cross comm with Will. I thought I was going to be the one that fell over. I think he lost his internet. Ha ha ha! Oh. But I can still got a phone. Love one guy. He had the Gray Knight, Dread Knight. Was talking about why he would never take the Thunderhammer because it was heavy, and was like, it's a monstrous unit, more heavy. Huh? Pretty tight. All right, what can I do? I could hit this button, configure it, play over here. Look at that. We'll wait for Will to return, if he ever does. But I did have a pile of stuff. I will have to do some like mumbo jumbo. Look at that. Not even skipping a beat. Now I can just chit chat. I got a game in the background, thankfully. But old heavy rule was strike last. Oh, tight. I need money. I need picks. I can go long on this. And I need boards. Hey, you returned.
I don't know why everything exploded, because now my audio settings are screwed up. You're coming out of a speaker now. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you, yeah. I killed the audio on the game. I have the game running in the background now. Poorly sized with barely you in the background.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I heard like chaos upstairs. Like the kids are upstairs, so
something got unplugged.
They just like decide to start hitting the router.
Drop kick the router.
Could be spouse doing her own work from home thing. Who knows? But
sweet.
Seems like I'm back.
We survived.
I survived.
So anyway, I just feel like a few things like while this model is like, I mean, I understand in some cases it's like, oh, well, I have to say while this model is leading a unit, because if the thing's rolling solo, like it's not leading a unit anymore. And it's like, then just make the roll so it's cool enough to be either of those. Or grants followers X as a shorter way of maybe being a little less British about it. Because here's the other huge problem with that.
Yeah, so hold on. I want to know what you mean by being British about it. Not as like a being pejorative about British people, but like games are designed differently based on different zones. What do you mean? What do you mean about this particular detail?
So in this case, maybe I'll go back and remove your face from this.
I'll put my screen up. Got nothing on it right now.
All right.
I have to rebuild everything.
So the statement, while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have lethal hits ability. In addition, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, critical hit scores an unmodified hit roll of 5 up instead of 6. I feel like that could just as easily be grants this unit lethal hits and crits on 5 up. Like, take the this keyword like it is in programming and be like, whenever I say this unit, I mean whatever one that it's in, and take all that and reduce it down to like 2 lines.
Yeah.
Just read better and be like, oh, what does this thing do? Well, but like everybody ends up reducing that statement, and sometimes they reduce it wrong. And they say like one word wrong about it, and it actually changes it.
Yeah, I didn't think about how you're kind of introducing a level of telephone in there. Because just like I was saying with the Leviathan setup card, like I paraphrase a bunch of it when I'm reading it out loud just for our own benefit. And I'm going to do that wrong some percentage of the time. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I feel like if they had to fit all of their rules on a playing card, like this was Magic the Gathering, things would be very different. We wouldn't be talking about this problem.
Yeah.
But instead, they get just printed in a giant book with as many pages as they want to pay for.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a card for it, but it's so much space that they're allowed to use.
Yeah, this is like a restrictions can be good for your design kind of thing.
Kill that screen here.
I have seen the Modern Magic cards, Badger, and I believe they've gone astray on that topic. Yeah, a lot of those new cards have ridiculous amounts of text on them.
I mean, I think the other thing that's very doable is that there are some rules that get used so often that they could just be compressed. I don't think a symbol would be great, but they can be compressed that much. So many units allow you to gain a CP or have some other unit use, or this one, use an ability for 0 CP or 1 less or whatever. It's pervasive. Like, and I think they got one step closer with like lethal hits. Once you've used it a lot, you see it anywhere and you're just like, oh, like crit hits or wounds. But so many other things are like 15 to 20 words. And it's on, I mean, realistically, could be on like 40, 50 units in the entire legal set. USRs, what is that? Union.
Yeah, I was just typing the same
Soviet
question.
Republics.
Oh, hey, look, the game remembered which monitor I wanted it to run on.
Yeah.
Maybe that must be my OS remembering that, actually. Not the game.
I think your game did it. Universal Special Rule? Yeah.
The OS did it.
There's
Universal Special Rule. Is that like an evergreen mechanic in Magic, or are we talking about Warhammer?
Yeah. Lethal hits, death wounds, yeah. As much as I'm enjoying bopping to the beats that are running in the background, kill them for now.
HeroClix added cards that made the colors on that model's dial different from the default colors. What happens when you lose that guy's card? Sounds like a bad situation if you lose that guy's card. Were they trying to patch the model? I didn't play Hero Clicks, but I played Mage Knight when I was a kid, which like kind of had a similar click the base to change their stats as they take damage.
I feel like they were very much trying to be like, oh, if you lose the card, you buy more cards, pal. Do you have any idea why everything is off a half a tile?
Yeah. Yeah, I broke it.
Okay,
broke
it. Sweet. That's like the best answer. Yeah, I broke
I
it.
broke
Good.
it when I was there was something else. I think it was when I changed all the pivots back to the middle.
Oh, that would make complete sense. Yep.
Pivots are kind of considered the origin point or like the root spot on a sprite. And when you scale a sprite, it'll scale relatively to that pivot. So if the pivot was in the corner like we had it, and this is kind of the dumb mental journey I went on. I thought like, oh, like if the pivots are in the bottom left corner, that matches Unity's coordinate system where 0, 0 is in the bottom left corner. Oh, like here, wait, I can even annotate. Yeah, bottom left corner here. That's 0. That tile is 0, 0. And so I thought it would be easier for me to just arrange things properly if I kept the pivots in the bottom left corner as well. So the object at 0, 0, I can put it at coordinate 0, 0, and it'll look right. Problem is, once we started doing fun things like these animations, for example, this cow pulsing, it would scale from the bottom left corner, and that looked weird. So I just had them scale. I had them scale on the Y for a little while, and it looked mostly okay. But one day I got sick of that, and I said, you know what, we're going back. I'm going to bite the bullet, change every sprite's origin back to the middle. And I mostly unbroke everything except for this logic here, which, if that's not clear what I'm doing, I'm trying to hover over a square, but the highlight system is highlighting the wrong square.
Half a tile off the whole way through.
Yep, exactly half a tile off. If I
the best
bottom
broken
left quadrant, then it's correct.
The best broken things are when you say, hey, do you know what happened there? And the person goes, I know exactly what happened there. Because it means they're fixable. Yeah. The worst ones are, do you know what's happening there? And you're like, I have no idea. A, it doesn't happen all the time. Like it doesn't reproduce.
That is 100%
time. I'm not sure if it was a certain build. I'm not sure if we incidentally fixed it once and now it's broken again. Like
I have been in some awful debugging scenarios. In scenarios where it like wasn't code I wrote or changed that I needed to debug, which is like a whole nother level of you're in trouble. And you end up doing a binary search on your version control, basically going like, oh, okay, why don't I try a build from 7 days ago and see if that's still broken? Oh, it's not broken. Okay, why don't I try a build from 3.5 days ago and see if that's still broken? And kind of like zero in on it, but man, is it a brutal process. Git has a nice command for that. If anybody's ever getting deep with Git, you can basically give it a function that it'll run on every revision that you want to check, and then it'll automatically do that system for you. But you have to have like a command line way to verify the bug, which is like almost impossible for a game like a Unity game.
Sweet.
Yeah. Anyways, I got excited about Git.
as
Talk
you
about
are,
bugs. I got excited about Git and I got excited about bugs.
As you are wont to do.
Maybe that's why I do this. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I do this. Well said.
Yeah, maybe that's why this is my chosen way of spending my time. Yeah, bugs. It's definitely the kind of thing where like I should have fixed it when I was in there. That's the other thing, is like my knowledge of what I did is slowly decaying. So like I should fix that. In fact, I'm going to put it on my little to-do list because I don't think it's tracked anywhere else.
Do you have that wicked tiny screen still?
Yeah, I've got my index card screen. It's just got chat on it. Can I hold it up in a way that people can see? Probably not. Nope.
You can move the camera that's looking at you, if that's easier.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then everybody will notice I'm not wearing pants. I am wearing pants. Where are we now? We are deep into chit-chat territory.
Yeah.
We picked up Night Rain. We got a day of Warhammer in. You've got some sort of stomach bug. Weekend's coming up.
Tell me, speaking of stomach bugs, talk to me about barbecuing pork without charcoal.
Yeah, so I know you're a bit of a grill master, and I wanted to ask advice. I have family coming in from out of town, and Saturday we're like entertaining. Basically, we're having all of my siblings and the aunt and uncle that are visiting out. So this amounts to like 9 people because I have a lot of siblings, and normally I would put a pork butt on the charcoal grill. I'd get up at like 4 or something and start this off, and there'd have been a rub on it for some number of hours prior to doing this.
Yep.
But last year I was cleaning out my shed, which is infested with mice, and found that there was a mouse nest, like a full-on mouse breeding colony in my charcoal grill.
Yeah.
And in a moment of poor judgment, I just threw the whole thing out. I couldn't bear the thought of cooking in a mouse-infested grill anymore.
That's not a bad call. I mean, the Middle Ages taught us much about the value. I mean, frankly, you can get a charcoal grill up to like 600 or 800 degrees, no problem. So you can incinerate everything, but but
no, I mean, I tried to drown all those mice. I'm not gonna lie, but I just didn't want to use that grill anymore. So I just didn't want to look at it, so I tossed it. And so I don't have a charcoal grill anymore. And I could go to like Ace Hardware down the road and get one, and that would change the problem. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend money if I don't have to. We're in a special situation right now. So, so how would you
just light it extra protein?
Cook a pork butt low and slow on a gas grill. Because it only goes so low without being off, right?
Yeah, to an extent. So there's a couple things. One, the presence of water in a container in a gas grill will actually cool it down. So when you boil water, you are actually getting like evaporative cooling. It just isn't at a level you would ever feel with your hands. So there's a couple things. One, you don't have to use a grill at all. Or you could choose to just...
I could just do it in like a Dutch oven or something.
Yeah. I think the optimal thing to do is to either slow cooker it or slow oven it, but like either pre-sear it or after sear it. And pre-searing it is probably the smart way to go. So you go out on the grill and you literally just over brown it pretty darn quick, and then you throw it in a crock pot or you throw it in the oven at like 250 for whatever amount of time. Just go that way. And the reason I say pre-gaming it is probably for the best is that at the end you want the like cook through temperature to be consistent so you can let the thing rest properly. And if you sear it at the... it might not be bad. I think you could do either way. You could either cook it till it's near perfect and quick sear it and then just set it aside, or sear it first and put it in the oven or the crock pot, and then like when it's ready, it's ready.
Word. That sounds a lot easier. I don't know why I was like focused on the grill. It's like an event, but it's probably not even going to be very nice tomorrow, weather-wise. Yeah,
so the party I was throwing very recently... Charred my souls is my secret. I was cooking lamb out of my Traeger, and it flared up, and I had to shut the thing down.
Oh yeah. Yep. No, a butt is going to put so much grease out.
Yeah. So one, I could have just put a pan underneath it. That would have been smart, but I didn't. The thing flared up, and when a Traeger flares up, a lot of times you start burning the pellets in the tube that winds the auger. So that thing's a whole mess. All I did was just take the thing off, put it in a pan, tin foil over it, finish it in the oven. It got all the color it needed.
Finishing it in the oven is always the right backup plan.
It's more consistent. For something like, I mean, you never want to get to that step. You never want to have to do it, but
sometimes you gotta.
Yeah. rewinding a minute. Oh, when I was cooking for Karen, I took 2 cooked requirements and every item I needed to make the third. Jumped yards, purchased the salt, completed the chivo, went to another yard. That's pretty sweet.
Sounds, yeah. How did that make you feel?
Was that annoying, or was that like, I got this? I mean, there is the issue of that being enough steps where if you aren't so deeply invested in it, you might not know you have to do that. Like, I'm relying on someone putting a wiki together for this game.
Someone putting what together?
A wiki. Like, where do I get salt? Oh, salt's over here.
Really desperately hoping that we don't have to do that ourselves.
Curious. Propel. Good stuff. 10% of my daily sodium. That's how I get my electrolytes. Sodium hexametaphosphate to protect flavor. Sweet. Salt. Potassium sorbate. Sweet. Potassium citrate. Sweet.
Is this your granola bar?
Nah, this is Gatorade's flavored water with electrolytes. Less sugar. No sugar, actually. It is a good, it's not as potent as Pedialyte, but if your kids really can't stand Pedialyte, it's good. I actually prefer to solve the issues. I only ask to know if it's possible. Yeah. Now, I certainly respect that. The thing that I teeter on is, and do take this as a compliment, like, you are also an exceptional person, Badger. And I wonder, there's always the like, how far do I lean towards the exceptional person who genuinely will play this game for 800 hours if there's enough cool puzzles in it that can possibly be done, and how many people are just like, F this game, I can't stand it. But I think the answer to that is just a spread of different things you can do, some of which are much, I think that's most of what I'm learning about the last few builds, is have some achievements in there that are almost atomically achievable that then graduate into ones that like require a deep knowledge and a bunch of hoop jumping. And so someone who wants to play the game for a long time is going to be wielding that kind of knowledge to get those later chivos. And we have them set up that way systemically. I don't think they're modeled that way enough. Like, I pulled out the paving stones from the Balboa achievement earlier today because when I was looking at Prospector's Pass, I was like, these couple things are within reach. This one is out of reach in a way I don't like right now. And I think there can be achievement that reaches further, maybe a step after I got that one. I think what I'm struggling with right now, not a bad way, is like medium level achievements. I think I actually brought this up under a different context, maybe on Monday. Is that hard ones are easy to implement, easy ones are easy to implement. The sort of bridge ones.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of something Joe had commented too, where like with all the wild differences that can occur between, plays on a yard, it's harder to manage the difficulty curve because you don't really know what people are working with when they show up.
Yeah, I think there's 2 vectors of difficulty. Maybe more, but like 2 main ones. One is like the time commitment to doing the things. It has nothing to do with access. It's like time and space. There's the metaphysical difficulty angle, which is the difference between, Arborist is time. And Arborist would get more difficult if I added a 0 to all the things you needed to do. It's also space, though, because the trees are big. The trees are what? Like 2x2, 3x3, 3x3? 3x3. Yeah. And so, like me doing Arborist on a tiny map with a lot of expensive unlocks, that's kind of a pain. But that's all, like, metaphysical mumbo jumbo. The other is, can I do this here? Like, right now, I'm really thinking about, I very easily include pine and apple. It tends to be easier to get, and I wonder if maple needs to be added to that. Because, like, the simple act of making a pickaxe was like, oh, well, if I don't put maple on this map, I just can't get it if I didn't bring it. Which is something I want. I'm not sure I want it there. You taught your coworkers control key multi-select today before leaving this morning. Control, yeah, is absolutely default knowledge. If you played RTSs, 100% true. I absolutely learned that
I love that.
from playing games first, then a lot of spreadsheet work later. Making sure you have a press, fermenter, salt, and cabbage at one time. That's beyond a single yard. Yeah.
There's definitely like a chicken and egg thing there too, though, because like, do you think? I mean, I think that they made control control the modifier key for multi-select because that's how their computers work when they were working on the game, right?
They did, but my understanding of that after the fact is the other way around, which is neat.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone was sitting in Excel going, "Why can't I control click my units?" while they're deving the game, and then on my end, I was like, "Well, playing the game before Excel mattered." It's a generational software generational jump. Yeah, like sauerkraut should be pretty easy to make. There's also a lot of improvement that can be done with the shopkeepers. Like I've always wanted to split Sarah out into two shopkeepers. And my original perspective was like, oh, one of them will do seeds and one of them will do saplings. And then they can both have like a little crossover between things like maybe fertilizer and stuff like that. I don't think that way anymore. I think there's Sarah, who is like maple, pine, apple, wheat, sweet corn, barley, cabbage seeds, and a couple other things.
What's the through line there?
Simple Sarah, Super Sarah is better trees, more in-depth seeds that are like for crazier stuff. And then you can sort of make a dividing line where you do some simple stuff to start. Like I'm making bread, I'm making sauerkraut. I don't have to worry about whether or not cabbage is viable everywhere because Simple Sarah sells it. I don't have to worry about some crossing point for her in specific levels where, like, right now in Farm to Table, she sells a cornucopia of stuff, which is not bad, but it would be better if she handled the early game stuff and her successor, who could be valid at the same time, handled oranges, coconut, bananas.
I get it. So it's more ergonomic for crafting the progression you want. Is that right?
I think that is a very good way of putting it.
What about for me, who sells me avocado trees?
The nice thing about that, avocados are pretty early, especially because you got like early achievements.
That was just an example.
Yeah, but it's a perfect one. I no longer worry about it because I give Simple Sarah avocado trees. And now I just presume avocados are like an early game tree. Have at it. I can still filter it a little bit by level. I can put them not in the first 2 levels you play if I feel like it. But mentally, for me to know that like avocados are taken care of by someone, not which thing, like there's absolutely a separation of which trees that you chop down for wood to use are simple versus complex. And there's a little.
I see. It's if you don't care how long it takes me to find the thing, it goes in the advanced one because you know that I'm already in so deep with the game, right?
Yeah.
Not that you don't care, but it's like
there are enough items.
You're not a bug at that point.
Yeah, there are enough items for me to be generous as long as I'm not exhaustively generous. That's the line of like, right now it's either in a level I like tune Sarah up so she sells everything, or not. And what would be good is if Sarah was everywhere, as long as you can reach her, and someone else was an unlockable that you're like, oh, well, the person's played enough. You're talking, and all I can think about is Mabel Sister's shop from Animal Crossing. I haven't played Animal Crossing enough in recent days, so I played the daylights out of it before. Is it just basically an advanced shop? I'll take that answer in a bit. Will,
I need to rectify my lack of Animal Crossing knowledge. That's for sure.
Oh yes, you do, and we can play it together.
Yeah. I have such a backlog. Oh my lord.
I'll be right back in there.
Okay. I think what I'm doing right now in the game is completely aimlessly wandering about, when really I need to pick one of these Chivos, get cracking. This gives you the new thing. Learn to craft this mysterious piece of a coin. 10. Are my eyes going? This is 10,000 cash money. Ruh-roh. Back to RTSs. Well, I love your example as like control key, because I picked up multi-select easily because I had a basis for it. But I've also seen I've seen people try some weird things, like insisting that the F8 key. If I asked you what the F8 key does by default, what would you say? Just get my cow systems online here. I got cows. I didn't have enough poop to be consistently composting, so now I got cows. Yeah, break something. I've been told that F8 is how you go to the next object in a list. And that is not an association I have built in any context whatsoever. That's a poor choice for
F8?
Yeah, that's a poor reason to make something a shortcut, right?
That's a good point, by the way, Auditor, that back to RTS, tier 1 buildings will build to tier 3 units. Yeah, they just need some fanning out separation. Will, are you ready to move to a new yard? So I would like to see that flow.
You want to see the flow? Let me get one of these low. No, it's fine. That's fine. Okay.
You can scroll a little bit. Just see if there's anything within reach.
Well, I was just marveling at the 10,000 cash money coin there.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dope. 50 sausages. I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe you just need a piece out.
I could probably get this pretty quickly if the.
Can you grow avocados?
If the avocado thing comes online. Mm-hmm. This is I had this problem before, didn't I?
Does need to be in the opposite. Go back to the Chivos thing. Go back to the Chivos. Don't do
Here's
it.
An avocado
Don't do
sapling.
it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
Scroll up. Scroll up. Look at the rewards from grassroots.
Oh, right.
And look at the requirements for Tuesday.
They're literally right here, aren't they? Okay. I do have to, and this is the problem I had last. This is exactly the same problem I had last time. Okay, so if I get apple trees, cheese and bread, I'm good. I need a press. Do I have a press?
Yes.
I can get a press. All right. Well, let's do this. Let's sell some stuff. Do I have enough for that? No.
You're a cheese hoarder.
I do have so much cheese. I'm not going to need any cheese for my Chivo, am I? I do want the heart feature now.
You need
the heart of Chivo.
You You need other cheese. You're making the wrong cheese.
I know. No, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I needed the press.
Ah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We can start pressing though.
Funny how it doesn't need cheesecloth.
Yeah, yeah. Whoever made that change is brilliant. Bread. I can start making bread over here though.
Yeah.
Keep that going. That means I'll also need more of this. Keep this going. Sell a bunch of this for space. Keep that moving. Bread, cheese. I've got enough of those. I need the tree stuff to come online. Okay. And money doesn't really matter as much anymore. How many tree things will you sell me, Sarah?
2 thread and a hand loom. God, cheesecloth is just brutal.
One, but I don't have enough room. I don't need this. Immediately forgot what I was trying to do.
There's a tenuous balance between
buy this.
Like if you show up with the right stuff, somehow having accrued it, things get like so easy. Like if you are already, if you were in Threadland, then you can drop in somewhere else, and any amount of cheesecloth you need, you're just like, yeah, whatever, no biggie. If you don't have that stuff, it's like it's very binary as to whether or not Mr. Zamidi is selling it to you, and that is like something I'm gonna have been and will have continuously been like tweaking over time. They each had their own skill sets. They all played to their strengths, covered for each other's weak. Oh, now I remember. Now I remember. Yeah. Good stuff. The big question is there talking, do I need a switch? Switch only? Ooh, Dune Awakening advanced access now available.
Dune.
Dune, the spice must flow.
One of my favorite science fiction stories of all time. Absolutely core to my being.
Steam now has a thing that you can pre-check off so you don't have to hit the enter your age thing anymore.
Wonderful.
And it breaks it by category. It's like a little bit of violence, a lot of violence, a little bit of nudity, a lot of nudity.
How much violence do you want? Oh, I sold all that corn, and now I need more corn. I have a tree. Let's make apples. Sarah, will you get me another? Oh no, I gotta wait a minute.
When is the full release? Is June 10th. Do I want to pay $20 to play it now? Nah, I'm good. If I was employed, it'd be an entirely different decision.
Yeah. Dune Awakening is the survival game, right?
Yeah. Like survival MMO, and the sandstorms come over and like repave.
You can't move on to Dune Awakening until we at least get one more Night Rain.
We have to. I'm not moving forward on that. Dune Awakening is something I'll probably just like noodle with, but it's like that game's going to need some time to simmer. You'd be too busy to play it. That's also true.
Yeah, we talked yet about like how important it is to just give people a minute when it comes to a game that just came out.
Yeah, I've seen New Kids on the Block live. When I was a young teenager, I was on vacation with my family, and we'd take a summer vacation somewhere every year. And we were up in Saratoga Springs. We'd often go to because there's a horse track up there. And that whole side of the family was like big on going to Saratoga and like spending a few days at the horse track. And there's a performing arts center there, and Saratoga Performing Arts Center. And my mom would like the weekend we would go up there, she'd get like tickets to something, and me and my dad and my sister would go. And I was not into New Kids on the Block. Um, it just like wasn't my jam. And the concert was New Kids on the Block, Tiffany, and I can't remember who the third act was. Um, but it was like neither my dad, excuse me, my sister or I was like into it, but we went, saw the whole thing, left. Another year, it was Poison, Enough Enough, and I was a little older, and I was like, "This is really not me." It was interesting, but New Kids on the Block was really good. They like very good singers, very good dancers. This is like decades ago, of course. This is like 30 years ago. New Kids on the Block. I mean, I'm sure they're still dope now, but little tiny tidbit.
They're not the New Kids on the Block anymore.
No, I was listening to like Slayer and Black Sabbath. Can I get original Sega Slaughterhouse outrage causing violence? Wait, that's tame compared to modern violence. Yeah, true.
All right, my Chivo's coming along here. I think it won't be that much longer.
I find it pleasant in this game that like you can meander and just do stuff, then pop open the Chivo app, be like, oh, I want to actually work on something for a while. Be like, it's not that bad. Just like go pick something.
Well, so I have all these habits in the game that I've developed from playing it without any Chivo system in. So like I'm still kind of like it's not the first thing I think of when it comes to setting a goal for myself.
You are a reasonable survivalist, but you're not used to playing on a game show.
I'm in too deep, right? Like I'm too close, you know.
But I mean, the habits are good. It does like you are like bootstrapped up right now. You have an amazing amount of capability. Like if you were gonna pivot,
thanks, man.
If you were gonna pivot right now into cheeseburgers, you'd be so set up. You have the means to make bread.
I was
getting
ready to start cowing it up.
I don't even know if I have a decent Chivo that cares about. I gotta make a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I want to has cheeseburger as a Chivo.
I can has, yeah, for reals.
Yeah.
How many's too many? I don't know. At what point? I mean, the thing is,
how many is what is too many? How many Chivos is too many?
Not. I mean, we're not there yet. No, we're not even close there. But
I'll know it when we get there. We're not there.
So.
Okay, these are all good. I just need the trees and the apple must. I'm actually confused because I thought I bought a tree plot from Sarah, but now
did it not fit and go in your van?
Oh my god! Well, no, I didn't buy it. It just isn't in her.
It's not in her shop.
It's not in her shop.
Are you sure?
Was it you that sold me the tree plot?
We
have to rewind the tape. How did I get this tree plot?
You bought it from Sarah.
Does she have multiple shops in this yard and one of them doesn't sell a tree plot?
Pretty likely.
Dastardly. Okay, so I gotta get in here then and do it. Get a bunch of wood and nails.
Wait, you need another one?
Yeah, you need 2 for this.
Ha!
Do you still feel like that's appropriate?
Yeah, if you're good at video games, that'd be no problem.
I just got get gooded. Fair enough. But she doesn't sell them right now.
She doesn't sell them this minute. What? Hey, 2 minutes from now, you'll probably walk out of here, no problem.
That's probably easier than coming up with 16 nails.
That is definitely easier than. Well, you might be able to buy them. How are you on money?
I got 158. It's enough for 2 packs of nails. The question is just the space. Can I
Yeah.
do this now? There we go. Okay.
Yeah, the trash can of glory.
Now do this. And this. I'm going to need to sell something because I need to do... Oh, hey. Discount day. Got lucky. All right, now... I need 2 more boards. Sheesh.
Check Tim.
Oh, Tim.
What does he
lifesaver.
sell?
He sells 4 boards.
Yeah, what
9, and I have 8. Fantastic.
He also sells nails.
Can I sell?
Did you notice that he sells nails?
I did not notice that he sells nails.
I thought you and Tim were close.
This all checks. I mean, this all checks out. Honestly, I don't spend a lot of time in the shops.
That Tim, you're very big on personal liberty.
Yeah, I am. It's true. Come from a long line of pioneer folk and
yes,
farmers on the edge of town. That's my heritage. Okay, so now that I've done this, I can do this and get a small tree plot. The question is whether it beats the refresh on Sarah. It doesn't.
A stout descendant of Deggery Priest.
Yes. Yeah, if there's one Mayflower in your heritage, there might be a few Mayflowerers. They had to marry somebody else English, I guess.
They kept it real.
Yeah, one of them was Deggery Priest. One of them was another guy. Okay. Let's check. Let's check this. Okay, there it is.
I wonder if I misnamed.
Chivo acquired. All right, so let's go simple. Wait, I'm in Simple Farm now, aren't I? Let's go to Prospector's Pass.
I don't know why These Deeds doesn't. Oh yeah, let's go. Let's pay attention while we go through this flow.
Oh, you know what? This should not be there anymore.
Good annotation. Yeah, it shouldn't be there. It should be gone.
Magnet Chivo shows up in what the heck is it? Chivo's You Will Complete section. All right, logged.
I do love all the little. I spend a lot of time on the internet references you two include in this game. Yeah.
Thank you, Auditor, for going to one of my favorite internet characters ever.
Is that Strong Bad?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. It's Strong Bad, right?
All right. So you cracked open the realtor screen. It's telling you what Chivos you'll get, but you already had that magnet one.
Yeah, which reminds me, I'll put this here.
Yep.
Shouldn't have already. Yeah, so I blew through all of this stuff a little bit. We'll go through it again.
Yeah.
Realtor.
Thank you, God.
Realtor, and then pretend that the phone animates. That's just a polish task that I haven't taken on yet, but it would be cool if it kind of rotated into this new orientation. Its positioning on the screen right now is not 100% on purpose. This is just the UI toolkit's flex box model system putting it here. I kind of expect it centered, don't you?
I think you need to make a full screen box and then have it be aligned centered.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried about. Like I said, I just kind of
I'm using that phrase as
slapdash.
I'm not talking about your implementation. I'm saying my expectation would be that it would operate like that. Like whatever your full screen is, it would be absolutely centered to it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so center the PNY screen. PNY phone container. Okay, so then I can select the different yards. I have all of these character icons here. Honestly, I have not looked at that row of characters for information maybe ever.
Yep.
It's a
So
lot. It's a lot of like icons, and I just kind of go, okay, there's
yep.
stuff there, you know?
So one thing is there is no mouse over for it. Second, it does not lock them up. So like
What do you mean lock them up?
there's no silhouettes for ones you don't have access to.
Oh, snap. I didn't even think about that. The PNY screen character lineup, I guess, should show when someone is locked. That's important, right? I would be annoyed if I showed up on a map expecting to access a given character and find out that they're locked.
I think enter level code is too much of a call to action.
Usually you want that. No, I get it. What do you guys want to do with it? Because right now it's just kind of, it's in there so that I could make it work. And it says enter level code so that you know what it is. Otherwise it's just a white box.
It's more secretive if it's just a white box. I don't know that it needs to be just a white box, but it telling you that you should do something here is
what if I make it, here's my programmer coming out again. What if I make it the symbols for a command prompt, the little like $, arrow bracket, and make it blink, or
sure.
not?
Sure, that's great.
Because then it evokes a little bit of like cheat console, but doesn't have call to action.
Yeah, I like it.
And it doesn't have to be such a stark white text box. It could be kind of subtly tucked into the bottom there.
It should be. It should be text that you're entering into your phone. Which, yeah, we don't have a ton of space, but that phone can be bigger. We can make the phone bigger if we need it, but it sitting outside of it,
yeah, so
and commanding you will to enter. You don't mind when the game tells you have to do stuff, as long as it's a thing Will told you to do.
All right, so the history here is that I complained about one of the tutorial steps the way Z had written it up because it was kind of like imperative. It was like, do this. And I was like, don't tell me what to do. And he has never forgotten it.
Yeah, no.
Does that offend you? Like, does.
No, I just think it's funny and I don't forget things that are unimportant. And,
okay, all right.
And I
feel seen then.
I try to create false hypocrisy where it doesn't exist. So what I say is,
yeah,
the only time Will cares about the language of it being imperative is when it's a feature he entered in there so that he can tell you what to do, but I can't.
I try to be consistent, but I'm fallible. I make mistakes.
You don't make very many.
I value freedom. That's for sure.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to that screen we were reviewing.
So noted auditor. When electricity happens, there's definitely going to be some shenanigans there to play with, which I think will be good. It will be so good when he accidentally leaves nothing in the vamp, though I doubt he'll do that unless he sprints through it and intentionally ignores things. When Joe, when you say characters don't draw order isn't consistent, I don't know what you mean.
I think it is. I think it should be consistent. It would really surprise me if it's not consistent.
I'm guessing it's probably just what's in the data, and I probably added someone in.
It might be that the yards don't show up in a consistent order. I would believe that at this phase. Although you do have tools to sort of control that a little bit. We need the. Well, here before I go nuts.
No, it's entirely what's in the levels database in the order that they were put in. A simple farm is Tim, Sarah, Otto, and Prospector's Pass is Tim, Otto, Sarah.
These should all be Tim, Otto, Sarah, Tim, Otto, Sarah, Tim. Bill, hard work. Yeah, at least for whenever Prospector's Pass shows up, the characters should be in this order.
Yeah, you're not shuffling them. Like I'm looking at the DB and it is absolutely working like it should.
Otto and Sarah are backwards for the yards. Oh, I see what you mean. You expect, okay. We're saying that in Simple Farm, Sarah comes before Otto. In Prospector's Pass, Otto comes before Sarah.
And what I'm saying is
should
clearly
always be the same.
No one,
be the same too.
No one on the other end of this stream took any time to read the database that's in front of me and realize that it just spits them out in the order that they did. That's what I'm saying. I'm deflecting on this
one. Okay.
No, I'm looking at it right now.
I'm going to go back to believing nothing is wrong here.
Yeah.
At least not for me to look into. I am generally super anal about consistency. Sarah and Sarah.
Nice. What happened? I can't do that because Sarah's a real person. I could do like Super Cyan Sarah though, and like give her like crazy red hair or yellow hair and like lightning bolts around. I did switch it in the DB. I'm not going to rebuild it. Just have one. Oh, and I almost screwed it up. Good thing. It's one of the things that's a little dangerous than me changing stuff on streams that I'm talking. Distracting myself. But next time around, it'll be Tim, Otto, Sarah on both of them. Good call. Good eye. Good eye.
All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about on yonder signature screen before I sign on the line?
All right. So you went in, you picked a yard. Which one did you actually pick?
Prospector's Pass.
Yeah.
We do have a to do to put the name or something to do with the yard you chose onto this screen, and we've got space. We got all this.
Yeah, we got good space.
Space.
So you've loaded the van?
No.
Yeah, but you legally checked two freaking boxes.
I put the magnet in it.
That, God, you have no idea what your purchase and sales agreement on your house said anywhere in it, dude.
It's true. It's true. And if we had the planned UI element that shows me how many slots are free in my van, I would probably not have forgotten to do it. But I did remember the magnet at least. So
okay. So please uncheck those boxes.
Oh, you know what's great though? I can't go to the market right now.
Yeah, take that.
Take that accidental thing you might do. I can also just totally play the game unhindered right now.
Freedom.
It is freedom of a sort. I wonder if I just totally messed up my Chivo. I didn't, but I could. I could, right?
Yeah, you're right, Joe. As far as the size of the Chivo icon, the actual thing in the middle of the big star.
In here? Oh yeah, there.
No, the bread inside the star, not that. To the left, the actual Chivo icons.
There's a lot of vertical space in here though. Is what I thought.
Okay. I could probably make that wrap sooner. I agree with you there, but like that bread is tiny. You mean
this bread? Oh, geez, I can't draw with my mouse, but yeah.
Yeah, the bread inside there could be bigger. I need to rework all those icons. They're meh. It's very like under duress first pass.
They're all at least kind of consistently south of the center.
Mm-hmm. They are consistently pretty close to the middle of the shape because the legs are a little short.
All right, so what do I want to load up? I don't know. I want one of these. These are good. These
Well,
are usually good.
you are going to Prospector's Pass.
Yeah, and there's a bit of like a there's a bit of a livestock sub theme on Prospector's Pass. Will this work? Ah, get right. I've done this before and it didn't work out. Why would I try it again?
You're gonna breed?
Yeah.
Right in there.
Yep.
I'm
Why would it
reminded of
work
an
out?
old
How can I
article
make
about
it work
Ultimate
out
Online.
better this time? I think I can bring 1, 2, 3 of these.
I wouldn't bring more than one of them. They're cheap.
It's true. These are harder to come by. Also this.
I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not even pretty sure. I know that none of that column that says like where can I place this stuff absolutely doesn't work because they all say
it doesn't work at all, does it?
Yeah. So
okay.
So the reason is it's referencing my yard right now, my underscore yard as a location.
That's not a place, is it?
It's the original one from the tutorial. So like, right, if it actually worked, you wouldn't be able to put anything in the van right now. Except for the places that say any. Because like the levels you're in are not my underscore yard at all anymore. My yard is a tutorial. My yard underscore 30 underscore ASF is the yard for, which means we actually have to change how that works if we want it to work again. We can't just flip it back on.
Yeah. I'm just going to do a quick. Would it even be in this? I don't see the logic for this yet. We wouldn't be messing with collision masks.
Might have obliterated it.
Go in there. This is going to look really awful. This is generated code. Don't judge.
It's
what is
small
that
enough.
property? What is that property even called? It's small enough that no one can see it. Perfect.
The location. Look, it's small enough where no one can see it. Where it's like you after the gig saying how many notes you missed, and no one else knows it until you spend 20 hours over 3 beers at the bar. But you're like, I screwed up that song. It's that caliber thing. It is location template.
Wait. We're talking about items being allowed in certain locations, right?
Correct. Back when we had
column. What is the column name?
Location template.
It's location template?
Is what it is in the levels table, in the items table.
All right. Sorry. This is going to be
digging
more of that inscrutable stuff.
In the items, let me finish. In the items table, it says allowed location IDs, which could be any for a lot of them. And then some of them are my yard, my van. Some of them are just my yard if I don't want you to put it in the van.
Here we go.
But don't fix it right
now. I'm not.
Okay.
Don't worry. Sounds like fixing it would really break things.
Fixing it would make the game unplayable. I think we need to elevate this and make it generic. And maybe, because I don't want to have to put every single level in the allowed location IDs. Don't want to do it.
Maybe I remember feeling like this was maybe not good enough for production, so to speak.
I think maybe the easiest way to do this, it didn't make sense before, now it makes a lot of sense, is to make it a blacklist rather than a whitelist.
Okay, it does have the property in here. Ah. Ah. I think this is never invoked.
Yeah, good.
There we go. Item template extensions, huh? Okay. Okay, so you want it to be a blacklist of just tell me where I can't go.
Yeah, and at which point, almost every single time, it's gonna be like van, but in some cases, it'll be like, I don't want you to. It'll be like van and probably shelves and stuff like that. Like, I don't want you putting a well inside a shelf or inside the van.
So what we really want this to be is banned location IDs, disallowed location IDs.
Disallowed location IDs.
Always update your comment. Your comments mean nothing.
It's one of the only things I was good at.
Does an empty list will still mean that it's allowed anywhere, because it won't have any disallowed location IDs.
Still needs to respect the keyword any. Which linguistically is a little problematic, but whatever. Per auditor, oh Will, you are on the internet. Everyone is judging you, and I'm sure 80% have found you wanting. Then again, your stream is probably made up of the other 20%.
Yeah, no, I get it. My problem has generally been that my harshest critic was myself.
Yeah.
And then a wise engineer told me that if you think empathy is important, the first person you have to have empathy for is yourself. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very smart.
Pretty easy. Yeah. All right, let's make sure this compiles. Yeah. All right. I'll abort this whole line of doing things because we don't need to fix it right now. Just fixing it would break things.
Yes.
All right. Where were we?
You were thinking about leaving. You were packing up your van.
Thinking about Auditor and how he's judging me right now.
Judgment tokens will get used to it.
Judgment tokens. Yeah, I know. No, those things are difficult to get rid of.
They are, as we found out. Another digging the rules.
Can't really get rid of them, even if your unit splits into multiple units.
Which I found out the hard way when Typhus and a Blightbringer were leading some Poxwalkers. They had 2 judgment tokens. All Poxwalkers died, so it split into 2 separate single guy units, the single guys. And they both still had 2 judgment tokens on them, which I was offended by. All right, so you got the magnet.
I don't really see anything else that I need to bring with me, and I'm tempted to just do a bunch of compost bins. You know what? You know what? I could get a lot of space back if I do something more like this.
Yep. You can take the trash can with you.
Yeah, trash can's a pretty good call.
Oh, you already had baby cows?
Yeah.
My other take on the have empathy for yourself is that no matter what, if you have any appreciation for bias, you are the most biased person to have an opinion of yourself. You're better off just even relying on a skewed interpretation of someone else rather than trying to assess.
I like it.
Assess for yourself.
All of your self judgments are flawed. You cannot judge yourself.
I rely strictly on my peers, superiors, and subordinates' opinion of me. Which also, as an important sort of pro tip, if you've got a lot of imposter syndrome, man, are you not the person to make the call on whether or not it's real? You're just not. And it took years. I still was deeply worried about whether or not I should make games
I don't mean to laugh about imposter syndrome.
10 to 15 years into the career. I had
Yeah.
moments where I felt like I had my current role under my legs, like my feet underneath me. But then, like, with a role change, being like, ooh, I shouldn't say it. It was not 10 or 15 years. I turned, probably it was like 10 years. Yeah, that was out in
There's
left
so
field.
much.
Do you know about Persian rugs?
There's so much to. I feel like with games, a huge part of games is how you deal with unknown problems. So like
Yes.
you don't spend a lot of time for some again for some of this. I know that you're more of the person who knows the answers, but you spend a lot of time not knowing the answer, and so that can be really difficult if your goal is to build confidence that you can do this.
Will, I spend a lot of time saying the answer. And I'm not even joking around about that. The important thing is that you discover by doing.
Yeah.
And so I am pretty good at charting a path that will either find the thing we're looking for or tell us where the hell we are. I am good at finding
Yeah.
landmarks. I'm a decent
Yeah.
navigator. And so
And
you have to
I
walk
see
to
that happening a lot. Like when thinking back on, you know, you saying stuff like, "I think it's time we get a build out there. Like we've made enough changes, and we need to know where we're at." Right.
Yep. I I will climb a hill even if I think our destination is a different direction, knowing that by getting on top of that hill, I can see what's around us better. It's like that whole thing I've said a million times where like your first pass on numbers in a spreadsheet should never be your attempt at being right. It should be the numbers that give you the best assessment about what things could and should be. Persian rug makers believe that only God can be perfect, so every rug has intentional flaws woven into it. That is
Beautiful.
solid, especially because of how dope Persian rugs are. There's another part of that though, also, because like Persian rugs are largely pixel art, but zoomed out.
Bringing it back home.
Yeah, well, when you make something that is so many microscopic bits, the sum of it is far more important than any 20 stitches that are wrong. And the other important part is that 20 stitches that are wrong distributed amongst the whole rug is unseeable to the untrained eye, but 20 stitches wrong in the same place is visible. Those are two different things. And this actually very much applies to video games where there's a total amount of bugginess a game can have where the promise of the quality of it isn't met, where it's just like it's just pervasive everywhere there's a bug, and that's one thing. And then things can be so egregious in certain spots that it's not even the number of them, it's just that like, you know, shit's broke somewhere, and you have to address those things in different ways. A game like Cruft presents itself as what it is. It's like a corny, interesting game with, you know, mediocre amateurish art. It's an indie game that like cares a lot more about being able to do a ton of stuff than being wrapped in a lot of heavily produced stuff. But if everywhere you go something doesn't work, that just sucks. However, if the cutscene is not a Blizzard cutscene, that's entirely irrelevant. Cutscene's pretty good.
But it's the cutscene.
The cutscene's pretty dope. Ready? I've seen this cutscene before. Make sure you spread your features across the whole thing. I'm out! Get me out of this place! I'm leaking Chivos!
We need like Homer on the Doppler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. New yard, new me.
Oh god, the off by half thing is like
it's painful,
bothering me extra now.
Yeah. Well, it does get
this.
Yeah. It is. It is no bueno. So you have to be mindful when you're making a game of like the distribution and density of your things that either don't work or are um, not at a quality bar that the game wrapped up in Toto represents. And like Cyberpunk got shelled because the stuff was both so pervasive throughout the game and so like the density was so high in some spots that relative to the quality bar of production of the rest of the game, it was just like it was as bad as it could get. I had no problem as someone who makes games running around and seeing stuff be broke a lot. I can see through that because I spend most of my days working on games that are broken throughout till you release them.
You could say we're broken in that way.
Yes. And a lot of players can get through that, but as far as like the overall market of people buying the game, it's not their obligation to get through that. Like stuff's supposed to work. You drop
Yeah.
$60 back then on a game and it looks gorgeous and there's all these crazy screenshots and there's all like wild combat system and progression and you know brillions of hours of dialogue and Keanu Reeves is there. Like if you screw up Keanu Reeves in a cutscene, that is far worse than screwing up a van going across the screen in a pixel art game. The expectation is just way different, and so as we cull things we'll do before early access with extreme parsimony, a lot of that is what I'm keeping in mind. It's like it's not is this good or bad for a game to ship with this into early access. It's that our early access is mostly our friends and a few people who randomly find this at the bottom of the list on Steam. Those random people that find it are coming through the door with a decently realistic expectation of where the game is at, both from how it looks in any videos and whatever, how it's explained in early access. We're very clear about like the game is going to continue to be getting developed. So we're being real about it. There is no marketing team behind this that is pushing for several things that need to sync on the same date. If I was still a drinking man, I might be able to convince Will on this stream to just like push the button today, and he might say yes. He might not. If we were both still drinking men, obviously the am I my brother's keeper part of that component.
You just mean that our judgment would be impaired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
I might not have someone watching my back at that point if we were both impaired on stream doing this. I guess it's probably a godsend that neither of us are, but you have to think real. You have to know your game to decide when is good enough for early access, when is good enough for a full release. To me, is a much bigger consideration. What was good for a demo is, in fact, to me, a bigger decision than early access.
Say more about that. That's interesting because I feel like I'm on board and I get why you want feedback early and often, and early access lines up with that.
Yeah. So
what's the danger? What's the danger behind a demo that you're alluding to?
So the demo, when I think about the game and what what lane it's in and the promise of it, the demo is supposed to be representative of the big picture, and the demo's going to be up for a long time, and we're not going to be deving on it like we are the main game. And so for me, it's like now the mechanics of releasing it.
Piece.
Drunken game design sound like its own niche on Twitch. I'm pretty sure it is. So the mechanics of releasing the demo very different than early access or full release. We were releasing for a festival. There was a month ahead of the festival. You already have to have a build up with them that's approved. We had that, but then that you can incrementally work on it until the festival. You can keep working on it even after day one. So you don't have to hem and haw on is this enough really, because you've got this like broad window of like weeks where you're deciding like, is this enough? Yes or no. Is this enough? Yes or no. And then even when it is enough and you get your build to get reviewed up there, you're still going to change it. Early access is kind of like that, but someone's paying us money to get in the door. and but they're paying money to get in the door for something that is stamped early access and looks exactly how it does. And so the demo I find to be day one a larger indictment of your game and your ability to make them than early access day one is. Like the promise of an early access game is that you will be present to play it as it grows. You are helping developers pay to be able to possibly feed their families while they make the thing. And someone might be able to listen to you and your feedback, especially if you get in when it's small. Whereas a demo is just like, here, take it. Tell me what you think of me as a person.
Demo's like your elevator pitch in a playable, right? Like it's got to be.
Yeah.
It's got to be sharp. You're only going to get a nanosecond of someone's attention. Like
that actually is a very, very good point. That stacks well. Is that the demo is like an elevator pitch. Part of the reason the demo had crazy amounts of stuff unlocked, crazy amounts of just like, hey, you could just fiddle away at this and make like a grillion things, was because that leads to less bugs. When you could do anything, you just lead to option paralysis. But not the full game, don't care. Like I wanted people to be able to play the demo for a long period of time and not actually have it be too gamey. Now that we have Chivos in here, multiple different levels that have, things placed in them that make the playthrough very different. Now the bugs come up. Did I not check that crap in? I thought I did. I didn't. I don't think I did, Will.
What crap?
You might have to stop and restart, but it won't kill anything. There was stuff this morning on stream, and what I didn't do via fork. Make sure this thing runs on this side. Boop. That does. I didn't actually push, pull, heave.
Oh, what are these? What are all these null refs?
What are you getting?
Oh, these are. I know what these are. There's only 7 of them.
All right, I pushed. The Chivo change that made Balboa even possible, or more possible. What are those null refs, baby?
Yeah. I thought I knew what that. There's a note. So you know how we have the ability to mouse over an item or some other bit in any menu, and the info box shows you their text.
Yeah.
There are a couple spots where I put.
I just got it too.
So this is a lot. I'm gonna at the end of the story, I'm gonna say I don't know. So take this all with a grain of salt. But those menu items throw a null ref right now if they happen to be something that isn't a real item. This happens with beads and with cash money because those are not.
If they don't reference
those are not
something
backed by an item template
in the item table.
Yeah, like the code just goes like, oh, okay, like this is it's just like a helper thing for serving that description text to the info box based on the item. But I used it for some things that I shouldn't have, and so when you mouse over some things, you get little null refs in the log.
That's it, Will. I'm leaving.
Which is bad. I mean, it's bad. I should fix it, but I don't think there's any other consequence other than the logs look weird. And that's what I thought these were at first. And them saying on Inspector GUI sort of hints at that, but maybe not text. Why is text font asset editor throwing null refs right now? I'm not even running the game and 10 of them have shown up. So that's alarming. Oh, look, there's even more. As I hover over yep, they're counting up as I hover over these text assets in the project view. I'm pretty sure this is Unity's problem. Because like we also see this in the UI builder. There's a bunch of errors that show up when you first launch Unity and had the UI builder open. One of them is like can't get frame count in editor mode, which is baffling that their own window is throwing errors on startup. But if I close this, I wonder if it still throws. Yeah. Nope, still getting them.
Just remember, you two are dopamine dealers. Make sure your customers are getting the hits. Yeah, and that sort of cycles back to like ultimate player Badger versus everyone else. Is like, are we selling crack or weed? That's really the big question.
I get that anything. I don't know. Going deep on addiction for a minute here. Like, I value freedom deeply, and addiction is sort of antithesis to that. And we do have to accept that to some extent, making a fun game is making an addictive behavior for somebody who has that kind of problem, right?
I don't know. I think there are levels enough. Like, I am sitting here. I mean, obviously, I'm addicted to nicotine. I don't know how, like, fine. I'm drinking coffee. Fine. There is a layer under which you can operate just fine. I'm fine, Mom. And then there's clearly a line where you can't. And like for me, like I don't really drink booze anymore. I still can. I still sometimes do. But like I can count on less than 5 fingers how many times in a year I will have a drink. Probably like once or twice a year. That's absolutely fine for me. 20 times a year is not. And like it's either like part of my lifestyle or it isn't. And I think for games, like Will and I both know like the most scientific ways to juice something, and we choose not to. There's a reason why craft is pretty chill. And I can respect the fact that some people get a
you're saying juice something, but you don't mean like the visual polish level task. You mean
I mean specifically around like dopamine hits.
Those brain chemicals as hard as possible.
So like I think this game is so tan and green bleak. I think we err on the other side as two very like technical systems minded people sometimes not make it shiny enough. But like I sleep with a clean conscience if you get a small dopamine hit when you clear some cruft out of your yard. I don't think that's even remotely in Bad News Bears territory.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've talked to folks who would say something like, oh, I've come to terms with the fact that what I do is not that different than selling alcohol or weed. And I don't actually agree. I don't agree with that because those things are actually putting chemicals into your brain, whereas a well-designed game plays nicely with your brain, but it doesn't introduce some foreign substance.
There's a very good point there. But there's absolutely methods that plenty of that arguably are just part of game design that are like I can make an addictive game.
Well, it's like psychology and like behavioral psychology has had this like explosion of understanding since people, develop the ability to read what your brain waves were putting out.
Right? I mean, I can absolutely make something that is like patently addictive if I felt like. Now, playing something a lot is not the same thing as addiction, but like part of we're gonna go mad segue here. I think part of the reason this is early NFT games were popular were because the activities you were doing themselves atomically were like meaningless and boring. They're terrible games, but the implication in the back of your mind that you were making money turned it into a slot machine.
Yeah.
It absolutely did. Like whatever that first one was. I can't remember. It was a pet collector.
Right. And now we're not talking about injecting chemicals into your brain, but we're talking about scamming people. Like
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about like, yes, we are not physically injecting other chemicals, but you were doing
I mean, when you talk
behavior.
about the NFT thing that intimates this promise of making money, right? Like,
Yeah, but it does not. What I'm saying is very different. It's very different than the earlier argument of like injecting chemicals. What I'm saying is you could take it to a level where it doesn't matter if you're injecting it or not. Like a slot machine
sure,
is a slot machine.
right?
I mean, I don't. That I guess that's what I'm getting at. I don't mind if someone plays Crust for 36 hours. Like that's on them because I'm not employing anything that is like deceptive. If you want to spend 36 hours cleaning your house, you are welcome to do that too. Um, but there's nothing like shady or underhanded that Cruft does to make sure you don't stop. Like there are absolutely in mobile games things
Right.
that are very intended actions that they put in to make you go to the store, feel rewarded for going to the store, feel reward like, oh, players are playing for 5 minutes and 23 seconds. If we put this thing in at 5 minutes, maybe they'll play for 6 minutes. I don't do any of that crap. This game is just like hang out and do it for as long as you feel like. It's not using any developed psychological methods to like squeeze more out of you. And part of that
Right.
comes with the fact that we gain nothing tangible by you playing for 2.5 hours versus 10 hours because the game just has an upfront cost. And we've talked about we may have games that have microtransactions in them in the future, and we walk a very like delicate line of like I also don't have a lot of time. I play a lot of games with microtransactions because I want to make progress faster so I can experience some of the game and leave. But once you start doing that, you have to be careful that you don't use these learned methods of just trying to optimize every person into the most spendy, addictive person possible.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm reminded of like the words you use to describe the person who buys and plays your game.
Yeah.
If at any point you stop calling them players,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're in trouble. You've
Yeah.
crossed the line for me. Like,
Like time served is not the same thing as compulsion. My children are upset
yeah,
when I make them stop doing something that they're enjoying. But there are things they can easily put down. And admittedly, I let them watch a lot of Blippy if they feel like it and they've been behaving. But like Blippy is orchestrated very well, like a lot of YouTube videos are, to like keep it's not Coco Melon or whatever the one that is like literally scientifically formulated to addict kids, but um, when they say like TV turns kids into zombies, well, I don't believe that, but there is something there. There's different kinds of TV. There's TV that my kids will walk away from and TV that they won't. And they're just different. And I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's because someone thoughtfully created something to make it less likely for you to walk away from versus not. Nice thing is, me and Will don't need to make all the money. We don't need to optimize for that. We just need to make enough money.
we don't have shareholders. Our expenses are relatively
Relatively
fit on
small.
one sheet of paper.
I've had Cruft sitting open on my second monitor sometimes for like for the whole weekend, and open. I'll just go over and I'll move some stuff around,
Soak test.
and then I'll do soak test. It's true, and it soaks well. Then I'll do something else. Then I'll leave the room. Then I'll come back 8 hours later, sit down, play Cruft for an hour and a half. Be like, yeah, that's enough Cruft. Pop open a different game while it's still just up there and running. Um, Absolutely fine. Yeah, pause buttons exist for a reason. Like the game, the neat thing is the game has no use for a pause button, has no use for a save button because it's just saved continuously. It's just your buddy. Essentially,
There's no reason for like a save reload because there isn't really like a mistake you can make.
yep. And be like, oh well, I sold my stuff, but
You can get it all back.
You can get it all back.
And at no point is your real money at stake.
Yeah. I think it's important that, you know, I don't mind. I've had so much exposure to both making and playing games that are scientifically and intentionally created for people to engage and spend more rather than play, that like I'm a bit immune to it. I love actual slot machines. I know exactly what is happening with that slot machine. And I have the ability to like control my, what I strongly believe is a willingful participation in it. But I have to respect the fact that like losing that can create an issue. You don't know the level code. The magnet is just a convenience. You know,
No,
work,
I
work up
agree.
that finger.
I agree that losing your magnet by accident is a tragedy.
It is a lesson. It is a lesson from the days of Gen X, where if you don't take your keys with you, you don't have your keys when you get home. You don't have your keys when you get to your car. It is an old, grumpy, gray-haired thing.
No, I do think we should do something to harden the game against that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You're joking about the keys.
Oh, it's very true. Like you do have to make. I don't want players to have to make that mistake enough times so they don't do it anymore. There's not enough support for. But yeah, like I don't think it's an important enough part of this game. If I were making a survival game and you're like, oh, I left my fire starter back at my base and now I'm dead, I'd be like that. Well, this game is not a survival.
Right. That makes sense because survivor games are about those who make mistakes now making it. Yeah.
I do strongly believe that the Badger's going to pop up with some important information specifically on the things that you found. But man, the magnet does really reinforce paying attention when you pack your van up. Now, as a result, speaking of Badger, like we've changed the entire flow of how you pack your van up and how you leave a level now, based on a lot of your feedback. It's literally like this, and I don't know how you felt at the moment, but like in that time, I was like, yep, it's got to change. Not 100% sure how it's got to change, but like it's not good. I was also fine with it, but I'm respecting the fact that like you as a player, your opinion should be different than mine. This harps on why you get other people to play it. And as I played through it, I generally don't leave the magnet. I got another problem. When I leave the magnet, I'm kind of fine. It doesn't actually bother me all that much. It just doesn't. I just click more.
We talked about we have different tolerances for corrupt.
Yep.
So to speak. Not literal in the game corrupt, but
yeah. But like I'm not full of shit when I say I want other people to play this game because it's who the game is for. And I'm not trying to like toot our own horns being like the messiahs of game development, but reworking a flow that I personally didn't care about made it to the top of the list of stuff to do before early access and literally put a halt on it. So I guess to my point, that's how much I actually like believe what I'm saying and like why I say like I'm not worried about having to accommodate players during early access. I want those players in there so I can find this kind of stuff because like that's what we're here to do is make games for other people. That said,
yeah, that's there's a huge thing there that like I don't think it took me a long time to get from the get out of my own head about what I think about games. It's like that's not the be all end all, right? And one of my favorite quotes is from Jordan Weissman, who designed I think the BattleTech stuff. And he said that once you have like when it's just you working on the game, yeah, that's your game. But once your game is out there and people are playing it, then it's not your game anymore. It's everybody's game, and you have to respect that.
Yeah, I'm obviously in a weird place when I say this. So, like, I don't quite believe that. Like, I definitely feel like it's still 100% my game, except that I like it's my game and that I am the steward of it. I am the only person who can go in, not the only person on the team, but like the people making the game are the only people that can do something um, outside of mods. But it becomes it becomes an open space. I'll put it that way. The government still owns the park.
Sure. And maybe there's a bit of nuance there because BattleTech is a tabletop game and that you don't actually need any product
I
that
think
an
you're right,
engineer writes
100% about that. I think,
to
yeah,
to operate it. Um,
that's a
and
very good point.
they have to let go a little bit harder, but I still think that the points you're making in the bit about sharing the game is still important. Like, because I mean, you yourself are talking about how you don't want to make a game that just you like,
Yeah,
right?
it
And so much of just getting a good product out there is getting multiple perspectives on it. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're making games or stuffed animals or yo-yos. Like, you get to better results through the consensus of a large amount of people. Like, this is the scientific method. Like, you get to the truth through a variety, like hammering on things with as many perspectives as possible.
yeah, it's there are absolutely games that benefit from having a central autocratic um center of the design. Um but I'm just like I'm not good at making those. I'm not good at designing them. Um and in my many years, I've just come to enjoy like the spot we are on the precipice of. Like if I hadn't contracted a norovirus, my stomach would probably still be a little upset. Like being on the eve of battle, like so good, so nerve wracking. It's scary, but it's also really good. Like the moment players get their hands on something, that's when I feel like now I'm actually really making a game. Maybe that's why I don't feel like it's everyone's game, is because I
Yeah,
feel like it's
it's not everyone's game yet. It's just our game. You, me, and the folks in the Discord and the number of people I can count on one hand in the chat, right?
for me, it's like up to the point where it's broadly released, I feel like a hobbyist. And then when other players get to play it, it's like being a dungeon master. Like you can sit there with the books all you want. Once you actually run the campaign, like now it feels like you're playing. That to me is very much how I feel about it. And the demo is very much the first session where everyone you're like, hey, don't worry if you want to change your character, like we rewrite stuff, but like you start setting up the premise for the world and all of that. But like nobody levels enough in the first session to be like, oh my god, my character's great. Everyone's sort of doing like the dogs sniffing each other's butt at the park, like kind of thing. Like, you know, Billy the Barbarian might be Hector the mage next time, and everyone will be cool with it. Um, but then when you get into the meat of the campaign, like playing tabletop, like that to me is like early access. And then like that point, 5 or 6 sessions in, where like it hits a stride, everybody's like third or fourth level maybe. You're like, my character can actually do anything. Do I like this plot? The enemy's been revealed. That to me is like release. Rough plush with that when we make money. When we make money, we'll dump money back into this thing. There'll absolutely be
Check
cruft
on those
dice. Cruft dice. I could employ my wife to make crocheted. There's some talk about making the pig crochet style, so that would be like at a high premium.
Yeah. How many deeds do I have? Oh my god, I have 12 deeds. Just been spacing
I'll
out,
harp on it.
thinking about
This is the moment where I'm like, well, I
thinking about
guess I guess we
games.
do need to be a little bit. I still don't know that it's a problem. I say that a lot about a lot of things. Like you're not playing the game wrong. You just could have unlocked a bunch more crap. So there was an author that was sitting in on a college professor's review of his novel. Afterwards, he walks up to the professor and was like, "I enjoyed your lecture, but a lot of your conclusions you drew, I never intended when I was writing it." The professor responded, "Well, sir, you are wrong." Love it. What's happening, Will?
Are you asking what's happening, or are you saying
Yeah.
it's that other bug that we have? I can't unlock this because I don't have room.
Oh, get
I don't
wrecked.
have room, even though I would have room once it's unlocked. But
Yeah.
we know about that bug. So now we're gonna
Takes a lot of D's for this level, so it makes sense. Yeah, this level's a little D heavy. I think I'm gonna swap out one of those pine tree plots for maple. I think what I need to do. I don't feel too bad about the mines because you don't need all of them.
Ooh, did I get
Wrecked?
did I get where? How did I get these? How did I get these pickaxes?
You unlocked mines.
Ah, those. How big is this mine? Is it 5x5?
Oh, maybe it is. Maybe I did violate the rules.
Yeah. The builder doesn't break that. That doesn't break yet, but it should.
I thought. Can you just verify that the mine itself is actually 5x5? Just like wiggle it around a little bit. I thought. No, it definitely is. It definitely is. I thought I made. I thought this is a good example. I guess who watches the Watchmen? I thought I left it with a column. I thought I made it unlocked at 4x5. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, it is a mistake. It's a mistake that was bound to happen.
Yeah,
and it's
good
just
one.
on me that validation in.
It's also on me that I said it's on me, and I didn't do it.
It is at the bottom of the priority list right now.
Yeah, and I think it can remain there. I don't think it's terminal.
Oh, I could have got these deeds.
I am
distance,
I am officially stumped as to why it's not showing the right icon for that.
Oh yeah, there should actually be an error in here, or a warning. No sprite found with name deeds, and no sprite found with name it deeds.
I bet you it's deed.
I've got them right here. Let's see.
I bet you it's it deed.
Yeah, it is. I'm like,
but
here it is. Yep.
I can't see as close as you are to it.
You can't see, but I have it highlighted.
No, that's not what I'm looking at. What is the?
I wonder if I do this.
What is the Chivo icon called? You might need to spell
it. And then the Chivo icon. Oh no. I love this tool, but sometimes it does weird things. Okay, there we go.
Oh my god. What a Luddite Philistine mumbo jumbo. I can fix that right now.
Is it in here? Oh, you know what? You know what you did? You left
off. I know exactly what I did.
Okay.
I know exactly what I did. Oh my god. Bud. And this I will build and push. What's funny is I actually opened it up.
Sell for?
I actually opened it up in Reddit. What does what sell for?
Iron.
Yeah. Is that iron?
I sold some iron, yeah.
You sure it was iron?
It was iron ore.
Okay. You're 100% sure it was?
It was this. Oh no, I'm not 100% sure. It's crude iron.
Ah, okay. Sweet. Yeah, iron's pretty good. I think I have, if I remember correct from my last playthrough, it's spitting out crude coal, and we don't have a way of refining crude coal. Now I'm just thinking out loud. We need to go to the stations table and fix that, because you're not.
Oh, because I can't get coal anymore. The mines are split into much more focused.
It's not a mine; it's a tomb.
It's is that Lord of the Rings? What is that?
Yeah, it's when they. I accidentally swapped the voice. It's not because it's not Gimli that says that. He's the one who says they call it a mine, and then Boromir says it's not a mine, it's a tomb, and all the bodies there. It's pretty sweet.
I'm rereading The Hobbit with my youngest, and I'm surprised at how much like foreshadowing there is about Moria, even in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Pretty dope.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Struggling to focus on my own task today. Plenty of time to do things. At least I'm mostly awake now. I feel you. Let's see. Find coal. Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Outputs are.
I keep clicking that thinking I have room, but I definitely don't.
What am I trying to fix?
Even that is full.
Is it the station? Is it me? Am I out of touch? Let's see. Stations. I think it's the small. It's mine underscore small. Spits out R coal A. Yeah. R coal A spits out for it. Am I using the crude coal? I'm not. Are they swapped? Iron mine spits out crude iron. Maybe the recipe screwed up. Find.
I might go into
so crude.
High gear beef production. Who do I need to talk to about that? Is it you? No.
High tier beef production?
There we go.
Yeah, beef it up.
Us.
Only the crude coal recipe should be spitting out. Here's the iron mine. All right, are you getting crude coal out of anything? Do you have the other mine?
No, I'm not sure why you're talking about crude coal. My mind only gives
south?
me iron.
Can you go south? Oh.
Copper mine down there.
No. So where that lower mine up, it's not there right now. The other thing I did is to the right of that well, I put in the artisanal mine
here.
If you were to reload that level from scratch, you would now have a small mine.
Reload would mean I have to.
You'd have to leave and come back.
Leave and come back. Yeah. Sure. I'm actually pretty close to getting the deeds achievement, so I'm gonna.
I don't know why I was getting that earlier.
Why you were getting?
I'm gonna try to debug my own problem.
I'm still like struggling to get you to say what it is.
Yeah, it's that I thought I was getting. That's what it is. I found it now. I know.
Said it out loud.
I haven't because I just figured it out. The forge that you can unlock.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mouse over. No, go back. Mouse over that little block of stuff. What is that?
Coal.
Yeah, that's where it came from. On my playthrough, it's not coming from a mine.
Okay.
It's a location thing. Haha.
All right. What do? I think I sell a bunch of this.
Prospector's Pass.
Make more of this.
There's...
Deal with that. Get more vouchers. Okay.
All right, I am fixing that now, but it's no bueno. I should probably remove crude coal. So crude, dude.
I mean, I didn't mind how pine logs are sort of like the intro fuel, and then if you want to kind of go deeper with metal working, you need coal.
Mm-hmm. There's no such thing as crude coal.
Ah, that's the problem.
Like, crude coal exists in the build, but it is not, there is no like, hey, put this in your, grinder to make coal. Coal is just coal. It got
Got it.
created and sprited out of symmetry, not anything else.
Sort of a form of copy paste error.
Sort of. I can throw my wife under the bus for that one. And she and I talked about it like months ago, and I was like, oh, I'll just never use it. Like, if we want it somewhere later down the road, if we wanted to make like some refined stuff.
Yeah. No, this is like true in code too, where like if it's there, someone will eventually use it. Like if your team is of a certain size, like if it's there, someone will use it. And I think that certain size is more than one.
Yeah.
Like stuff just gets used. It's like a weird Field of Dreams thing. If you leave it in your game, something will end up invoking it.
That's true.
Feeling much more organized now, even though that got me nothing. Okay. Give me those cows.
I believe that would be
Sell
more.
these.
I wonder how many cows that would be to slaughter. It's not in the game yet, but there's a chivo coming.
Yeah.
It involves a lot of ground meat.
Sick. Is there anything else I want to bang out while I'm at this? Do I want to just like try and make as much money as I can?
Yeah, you should cream out.
Okay.
Honestly, like sweet corn's not bad because you churn out so much of it and get so much seed back. You just need water for it. I'd be meandering through chopping wood and stuff. Leave yard to 24 pigs. Slaughtered 1,984. Good reference, cows.
Going back to the topic of the Hobbit in the trilogy, Hobbit was first.
Yes. Hobbit was like the magnum opus story, and then it was like, well, and here's the rest of the universe later.
Yeah. The HBO of 1964 was like, you can't stop writing these now. And instead of someone we know, he was like, okay.
Yes. It's pretty wild when you think about it in that context. And like nowadays, like in terms of watching the films or reading the books, like it definitely pays. 16 tons, nice. It definitely pays to do them in one order at some point in your life, and the other order in another point in your life. I read originally. I read The Hobbit afterwards.
Mm.
And it was still fantastic because you get a bunch of dramatic irony, and especially like as like a pre-teenager, you're like oh this because like so many little tiny tidbit facts stick in your head because your brain's so full of memory. Everything is just on SSD. There's no like manual drives spinning up yet.
You don't have to sift through all of these embarrassing.
Yeah, you don't have to do this like heavy physical hard drive memory calls. Um, and I can actually update when this is done. But and obviously the films came out in reverse chronological order, but then I think I was in my like either teens or early 20s and I read it like chronologically and it felt good because enough years had passed where it was like all memories. And then now whenever I decide I'm gonna like do the like Lord of the Rings thing, I always watch The Hobbit first. Cave level. Unlock it by only loading a single unit of thread into the van between levels.
Is this like a sort of a riff on using string to find your way out?
Is it biblical? Get a camel. I have to add camels. Like get a camel through the eye of a needle. String or nothing. I don't understand the reference. Why don't I not understand the reference?
Wow, Hobbit was 1937. That's so crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, it it's absolutely wild to think about the fact that like when Led Zeppelin was making songs that were all like and like Sabbath were doing like songs that were like very hobbity, Tolkien-y, D&D-ish, like songs
Mhm.
like The Wizard. That shit was like they had read that when they were kids. And it was like reasonably fresh. Kind of neat, huh?
Mhm.
I mean, Dungeons and Dragons coming along was like oh my god, I not only read this like that kind of like Conan in the same very same vein. Like Conan is very subdued in terms of like how much like fantasy is really in it. It absolutely is fantasy, but like it's not like super high fantasy where like everyone's running around with a wizard in their party. Like like Thulsa Doom is a sorcerer, but
I love that. Yeah.
and he's high level, but like there's not one of those in every town. Um, you know, a lot of times the closest magic anyone runs into is like getting, you know, cooked up and eaten by a witch out in the woods. D&D was like, "Hey, do you want to be that?" What? There's a book, children's book called Dear Zoo, uh, where it's all about it's a sort of a pop-up book where you open these different packages. I don't know if everyone's familiar with it, but it's like I wrote a letter to the zoo. I want an animal, and they sent me a dot dot dot. And it's the
I know that
animal, but he was too blah blah blah, and uh, and the camel gets sent back because he's too grumpy, and I'm like, all right, that's a you problem. Like I get that like the snake's scary, the frog's too jumpy, the lion is just like too fierce, but the camel was too grumpy. So you sent it back. Like, what kind of ungrateful little chump are you? You got a camel and you send it back. Oh, you're too grumpy. I continually remind my children that they're too grumpy and I haven't sent them back yet.
that. Ah,
Yeah, Conan is very low magic,
that's
and
amazing.
it's one of the things I actually really like about uh, Conan Exiles, the game, is it's very low magic. Like you can make a magic wielder. It is not like I got mana and I'm just casting stuff all day at all. And it's higher magic than like the legit Conan. Camel spit, sure.
Watch out. Yeah.
Dogs tear people's faces off. Didn't send the dog back. He was just right. I have a special place in my heart for grumpy people. I think they're an important part of the social economy. Oscar the Grouch, top-notch character. I don't think anyone's obliged to like everything or be cheery.
There's a, it's not there anymore. There was a bowling alley in my town, and people running the counter where you got your shoes in your lane were the absolutely grumpiest people I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They would go as far as to make fun of you for the things you said about bowling, like, "Oh, it's been a long time since I bowled," and the person would be like, "I keep hearing that. It's been a long time since I bowled, man." That's flabbergasted at their just zero F's given.
There was a time and place where that could be like your thing, and I think that era is gone because you just end up on social media, and it's either a very curated experience, like one of those restaurants where they're very much supposed to insult you.
Yeah, there's a place in Boston like that where the whole shtick is that the wait staff is rude. It just still, I don't know.
Camel's a horse by committee. I do like the fact that, like, when crusades were going on, bringing all these horses, into Persia, for lack of a better term, and in that area of the world, they were very familiar with horses and camels. And, like, camels were deeply upsetting to horses, so you just didn't really mix them up too much, especially if those horses did not grow up with camels around. So and people riding camels like they were horses, just going into battle, and just like for years until you like got enough horses used to it. Be like the smell of them was disturbing. Same thing happened with elephants. Like, you can eventually have horses be okay in the presence of elephants, but like having elephants ride in, the first time a horse has ever seen one, they're just like, F this. I no longer function. I am not a car or a tank with a steering wheel. I am a semi-autonomous living thing that is deeply disturbed by what's in my presence. How many deeds you got?
That's wild. I had no idea. I got 13 deeds. I'm keeping 10 of them for my Chivo.
Yeah.
I guess I could cash in 3 for something. Let's get some space here. Now it's just about money.
What are you thinking about taking with you?
I honestly want to come back here.
It's not a bad call. Just start fresh.
I think I'm going to take the mine with me.
So freaking broken.
I think I am.
Yeah, go ahead. Put it in there. See what happens. Accidentally sell it. Getting that column to work is absolutely a P1.
Let's put it on the list. Let's
I'll handle that.
Let's prioritize it up. I think I've been selling cows for a long time. How much more money do I need to make?
Oh, is blacklisting actually going to solve my problem? It's not. Now, if I want to blacklist something, I have to blacklist it on like every freaking yard possible.
Well, wait. How many things are you going to blacklist from a yard?
Oh, that's right. I'm not. You're right. You're
going to blacklist them from the van. Like the only thing you're really going to put in there is like van and maybe the shelf for now. I mean, obviously, like more hardest
No,
task
you're right.
locations
You're right.
will come up.
When I was writing out the actual task, I was like, wait a second, did I just sign myself up for is that a controller?
Is what a controller? Oh, you look at the category on the task. Yeah, the model layer is done because it has the property. But the business logic is not in play yet.
Low estimate?
Yeah, really low estimate.
I mean, what is the low estimate? 0.25 or 0.5? 0.25. 0.1.
Give me a 2.5 on the low and a 0.5 on the high.
A 0.25 on the low and a 0.5 on the high.
Yeah, we're gonna call that function whenever you move something, and then I'll have to debug it. But not debug, but then I'll have to test moving stuff around every which way. Use the magnet, don't use the magnet, go into the van, go out of the van.
Hey, Will, we've hit that magic time.
It is that magic time.
By that magic time, I said I would last as long as I could.
You've done it.
I've done it. I need to depart somewhat promptly.
All right.
So I'm going to do that. It's been real. But I got to go, and I'm not going to stretch it out any longer than that. Thanks a bunch, folks.
Fair enough.
We'll see you next time.
Abruptly done.